Welcome to Chicago Tribune's Bear Download. I'm Rich Campbell. This is Dan Wiederer. We're here on day 3 of the NFL Scouting Combine. And Dan, we heard this afternoon from former Missouri linebacker Michael Sam. Met the media for the first time since announcing that he was gay on February 9th. And real commanding performance by Michael Sam. I thought he was very insightful about what he's going to face in the NFL, and I think he's got a very good perspective about the challenges that are ahead.
Yeah, it's certainly a fascinating storyline, and he handled the 12-minute session today with some good poise, some good humor in it.
Right.
And really his whole point is he wants everybody to quickly take this conversation to football. Now, realistically, that's not going to happen. We're going to be talking about his status and his sexuality for a long time and how it impacts his transition to the next level. But this kid obviously has a good head on his shoulders. He revealed that to his teammates before last season began. Missouri obviously had very few problems with it. Won 12 games. He won SEC Defensive Player of the Year. So it doesn't have to be a major distraction for the team. Now the question is, as you go up to this next level of scrutiny, this next level of media attention, how do you handle all that?
Right, and for a player who is widely considered to be a mid-round draft pick, he's going to really have to push himself to make a roster and get to a point where he can contribute for an NFL team, even though his college resume includes SEC Defensive Player of the Year, which is incredibly impressive. And I just think that, like you said, it's not going to go away. I mean, you're going to have people following up on this story for weeks and maybe even years about, okay, how is the tolerance now? What is the status inside the locker room? And so it's going to be an ongoing thing that I think will wear on a guy.
Well, we've had a chance to talk to a lot of different people around the league this week as we were preparing for Michael Sam to speak today. And one of the sentiments you get is that guys in the locker room will respect you if you can play football. Now, controlling the media circus is a whole different element. And guys will tell you that the easiest way to handle a situation like this and to make sure that it doesn't become overwhelming is to acknowledge that it exists. This is a fascinating storyline. It is there, but to not make it the focus of every day and every conversation you have in that locker room. That'll be a challenge for Michael Sam. Bears general manager Phil Emery said this week that he doesn't worry so much about a prospect like this or a Manti Te'o a year ago about how their presence is going to affect the rest of the team, but how the media crush affects this young man. These are 22-year-old kids coming out of college, subject to a level of attention that they've never had before. And so do they have the maturity to handle that? It's a very unique situation. Can they sort of process it all, take it all in, and still remain focused on why they are in the NFL, and that's to play football?
Right, and I know you and I have talked to a couple of current NFL players for a story that's running in Sunday's Tribune about distractions and this media attention. And well, these guys say that it's a drain, it's an emotional drain, a psychological toll that weighs on you and can divert your focus. And I think that goes for any job. Anytime you have an outside influence that's distracting you.
And a little bit extraordinary.
Sure. It wears on you. And so it'll be really interesting to see how Michael Sam holds up over time. We had a chance to talk to his college teammate today, Coney Ely, who said that he believes Michael's professional approach and his caring attitude will help him endure some of this scrutiny and pressure.
At first glance, he seems like a level-headed kid, and I think that's going to make an impression on people. There's going to be the ongoing discussion until May on just how this affects his draft status. Will teams shy away from him when it comes time to pick because they have another guy on their board that is equally talented that won't bring all this extra attention? That question won't go away until we see where Michael Sam is drafted in May, and at that point, the discussion will change it.
And when you think about teams that could draft Michael Sam, you obviously know the Bears' defensive needs and their pass rushing needs are driving this draft. It'll be fascinating for you. I mean, goodness, ends up in Chicago and becomes. I mean, I think whichever team he goes to, I don't know if you want to say face of a franchise, but certainly a guy that's going to command that type of attention off the bat.
Well, and a year ago, Manti Te'o was that guy, and the Bears were in the mix for him after, sort of parting ways with Brian Urlacher or preparing to part ways with him. And so the question was, how long was that Te'o circus going to last? We saw it kind of disappear rather quickly after the combine and after the draft. You really didn't hear much. Now, whether that's because Te'o was in San Diego,
it's far, it's a long way away,
smaller market, all those things come into play, or whether the Chargers just found a way to manage it remains to be seen. But some team with Michael Sam is going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, fascinating storyline for sure. All right, for Dan Wiederer, Rich Campbell, day 3 at the NFL Scouting Combine. That'll do it for Bear Download.